Okay, everybody. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over the second part of this menu project. In the previous video, I created a logo, which worked for this ham-fisted bar and grill thing. Next, what we're going to be doing is setting up the document itself and dropping in the text. That's what I want to do today. Now, I've got the page open right here that has all the specs on it. So let's go ahead and let's minimize this, and we're going to do the same thing with this. Whoops, minimize too much. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. All right. So let's take a look at our specs here. What we have are two pages, but not facing, 11 by 14 with a half-inch margins, one column, okay, and an eighth of an inch bleed, and the first page will contain the cover page, which will be on the right. Okay, that's what we call pagination. Okay, back will be on the left panel, and the second page will have the inside of the menu. That'd be the back of the first page, as it says here. Okay, so we're going to have to set up some guides for where the fold's going to be and for the inside margins. Okay, because you can't do those automatically like you can at the initial setup. So we're going to go ahead and click over here and click on Create New. And that'll bring up our dialog box eventually. Okay, now what we've got here is your basic default. We don't really want that, so we're gonna have to kind of do our own, because the thing is, even like with the standard presets, there's nothing that's quite that size. This is kind of an odd size. So what we can do though is we'll just go with just start setting this up. We're gonna click on inches. And you notice here that the default is 8.5 by 11. Facing pages is marked and all that. So we got to go through each one of these things. So this is going to be 11 inches tall, 11 inches wide by 14 inches tall. So I could just highlight this and type it in, but I also can just start clicking up. So we just give it a few clicks, and there's 11 inches right there. Right now it's 11 by 11. That's perfectly square. We don't want that. So we're going to change this to just by clicking up till we get to 14 inches. Okay, got set for inches. And let's see, we need two pages. Okay, and not facing, so we'll unclick that. Let's see, the page numbers, we don't have to worry about that. It's not a big deal. Let's see. We want one column. That's what it says right here, one column. And let's see. So one column. Our margin is half an inch. Well, that's the default. So that's what there is. Now, if you want to change this, like for another project, what you do is you just kind of click these. They're linked right here, so you can. That's like a 1 inch quarters, and then half an inch right there. So that's 1 inch margin all the way around, and we want an eighth of an inch bleed. Okay, so it's at 0 right now. Again, this is these are linked. Make sure that's the links are not broken. And you just go up one click. 0.125 is an eighth of an inch. Okay, so there you go. That's our basic setup. Okay, make sure, double check, make sure this isn't facing. Otherwise, it's going to look goofy. It's not going to be right. We're going to hit create, and there's our initial page right there. That's page 1. Let's go ahead and let's expand this so we fill up the page. All right, let's start bringing in some of those guides. Okay, Oh, before I do that, I think I'm going to switch over from Essentials, which is the default in InDesign, to I think I'll go with I think I'll go with typography. I could go with book. Okay, that would probably work too, but I'm more familiar with typography and the icons that are available through that. Okay, now let's bring in some guides. We need one for the fold right in the middle and either side of that. Keep those things even. So let's bring this in, and we're going to put this first guide at 5.5 inches. That's right in the middle there. And then we're going to bring in two more guides, one at 5 inches and one at 6 inches. And that should give us even space for columns right there and right there. I'm going to do this on the second page as well. It's too bad the guides don't go the entire way, so it's on both pages. But that's set up so that you can have a little more autonomy between your pages if you want to set up the guides differently. So that's at 5 inches right there. And looking at the thing, make sure it's right at 6. Let's make sure this is right there. Okay, so that's all set. Okay, now before I do anything further, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick save. Do a quick save as. We'll just call this, let's see, Art 211 menu. Let's call this menu 1 for now. And let's, right now it wants to put it in the Netherlands thing. I don't want to put it in that. So I'm going to move up 1. Now, shall I put it in, I'll just put it in my graphic design folder and hit save. And now it's Art 211 menu 1 InDesign document. Okay, good. Now, let's start adding stuff to this. I guess the first thing I want to do is I want to pop in that logo and see what kind of space I have. Now, I've changed the logo a little bit since the previous video. I decided to make it color, okay, which was pretty simple to do. It's just a matter of assigning color to fills in Adobe Illustrator, and I've went ahead and I've saved that as a TIFF. Okay, I also changed the orientation of it a little bit, so the sandwich and the fist, they're a little bit different. They're also coming out out of the middle of the thing, but you'll see that in just a moment. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Place, and let's see what comes up here in my graphic design folder where I've got everything saved. Ham-fisted logo color. The TIFF is the one that I want, because the Adobe Illustrator file, I could bring that in, but that would have the entire page, 8.5 by 11 page along with it, and I don't want that. I just want the logo. Okay, so let's go ahead and open that, and it's loaded up my cursor with the logo, so I can just set this, boom, wherever I want. Now, it's a little big right now. That's okay, so I'm going to double click on this so I can size it down. Oops, sizing down the wrong thing. Let's undo that. There, that's what I'm trying to do. Sizing down the object itself. Now, the thing is, I've got a margin over here, and I've got a margin over here. I don't need to have it completely within the margins like that. I could, but I can go a little bit wider than that. Whoops, got to stay within the frame. Actually, I'm going to shore this frame up a little bit by just bringing this in so it's a little tighter to my logo. There, now I should be able to move this thing wherever I want. All right, so I'm within the margins on the one side, more or less, not the other. The thing is, though, that margin's a little big. I should be okay. I'll leave a little less room right here than over here, so for cutting purposes, it'd be all right. What I'm thinking about now is the placement of it. I could set it up here, give myself a lot of room here, or I can have it sort of centered here toward the middle of the page. Actually, I think that centering more in the top half might be the way to go. So let me bring in another guideline here, and we'll put this at 7 inches right there, so I can figure out exactly where I want this. Kind of eyeballing it right here, but I think that should work. Okay, now what I can do is I can start my text right in here. Okay, so now I have previously went ahead and went to the page that has, if we go back here, the page that has all the text that I need, okay, which is, let's see, where are we at? We are at restaurant menu copy, this stuff right here. I had previously went ahead and highlighted and copied all of this. If you want me to do that again, I can. Just start here, start rolling through all this stuff so it's all highlighted. And then right click, copy that. Okay, simple stuff. Okay, so we're going to start in with a text box. All right, so type tool, okay, and I'm going to make my first initial square right there. Now, right now, my font is Minion Pro. I don't know if I necessarily want Minion Pro. That's the default, but it's a little, I don't know. I don't know if it really suits the style. It's a little on the fancy side. So what I might do is go with something a little different. I think that for just basic text, and when you have a lot of it, the best thing is probably just Times New Roman. Okay, when you're doing lots of text, you usually want to have a serif font. Serifs are those little bits on the top and the bottom of the letter that help align it. It actually helps people read. Okay, it creates the serifs creates sort of a visual line, an implied line that makes it easier to read lines of text. Okay, so you can have a serif font for text and have a sans serif one for headlines, which is probably what I'm going to do here. I think for the um, different parts, the different where it says like appetizers or sandwiches, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this similar font to what I have in the logo. Okay, so I'm going to click on Times New Roman and 12-point font. That's pretty good. That's the default, and my leading is at 14.4, which is again standard, so that's pretty good. And all I got to do is just hit paste, and there it's put that in there. Now notice that there's more in there than we have just in this one square. So I'm going to need to link these together so we have flowing text. I think what I can do though is I think I might give myself a little extra space right here, make that just a little bit larger, and I need to go ahead and start putting in the rest of the text. So this is the front right here. So the rest of the text is going to start. This would be the inside where you flip it over. So it would go from here to here, and then over here, and then finally to the back up here. So that's pagination for you again. Okay. Let me go ahead and make another type tool. Whoops. My finger twitched. Let's put that right there. And then grab this, click here, loads the cursor. There, and it continues right there. Okay, we're going to do the same thing again. Create another text box. Right now the the text is sort of unformatted, but we can fix that pretty quickly. All right, let that load up. There's that one there. So, and then we've got one more we need to do, which is right here. And then we'll go back down here, grab our cursor, load that up with the rest of it, and then back here, link that up. Okay, now, as you can see here, we've got quite a lot of space here. Okay, so that means we can actually make our font a little bit bigger if we want. Okay, and we can also add some spacing and make our headers a little bit bigger. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move this up here so it's a little more centered since I wound up moving that. Let's go ahead and click on appetizers. And let's see, this font here was, I believe it was called Mickey or something like that. Some kind of cartoony thing. I was thinking it was Mickey. Maybe it's not called that. It's really similar to a cartoony font that I had used in the past. Let's see, phosphate. I think actually Arial Black might work for this too. Okay. You can also, if you want to mix things up a little bit, I could use because it's kind of cartoony looking, I could use a font like Anime Ace, but that might be a little too cartoony. That's one I use for comic book dialogue. Yeah, just trying to think here. What would probably look best. Let's try that phosphate and see what that looks like, and let's make that a bit bigger. I'm not wild about that. I'm not wild about that inline bit, so let's change that. Let's go with something else. Oh, Wicked Mouse. That's the one I'm looking for. Hey, there it is. Appetizers. Okay. Now, one thing you're going to notice is with some fonts, they don't have all the special, they might not have all the special characters. In this case, my little dot thing isn't showing up. But that's not a big deal. Because what I might do, I might go ahead and grab this and center this so I don't need a dot. Okay, so let's see. So that is Wicked Mouse. Double check the size here. Let's make that an even 30 so it's easy to remember. Okay, and then let's go looking for the next one. There's a lot of text on here. Let's see, the next one would be pastas and vegetables. So we should have, let's see, recent fonts, Wicked Mouse. Let's shoot that up. See if it'll let us do 30. Not quite. Okay, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add the word and vegetables, and then format this so it's dead center again. Okay, and then let's see, sandwiches, we can do the same thing again. Wicked Mouse, let's make that 30. Center it. Oh, I didn't finish making this 30, so there we go. Okay, we're going to have to adjust this just a little bit, but that's not a big deal. Okay, so we got sandwiches, and then let's see. Okay. Roasted vegetable stir fry. All sandwiches. Make your own. Oh, here's one I missed. It's called snacks. Okay. A lot of text here. You got to look through it carefully to make sure that you've got everything set the way you want. Okay, so snacks, let's do the same thing. Wicked Mouse, set it for 30, and we'll center it. And let's see where we're at as far as like, okay, this is moving along, getting more and more filled. That's pretty cool. That's what we want. Let's see. There is. Seems like there would be a thing for a division for dinners somewhere, but I'm not seeing that. Calamari and rock shrimp parfait. Whole bunch of crazy stuff. Okay. Crispy. Okay, that looks like those look like dinners there. So I'm just looking for where exactly this makes the switch. Snacks here. It looks like something might have got left out, so I might need to change that. Oh, here we go. Small plates. Didn't see it. Okay. Like I said, this is pretty small stuff, so you want to read your copy carefully to know where things need to be, okay, and where they need to be changed and stuff like that. Okay. That's working pretty well. All right. One thing I think I might change though is I'm going to be making probably a change with the font here, the color, because I think I want to keep that red. Oh, we've got beverages here too. We got dessert. Wow, again, a lot of stuff. So let's make that dessert. Set it for 30. Center it. And then I think the last thing is beverages. Right there. And right there. And right there. Get everybody's attention. Okay. Now, I think that's working pretty well. Yeah. I think we can do, there's a little bit of space here. We could add photos of, stock photos of food or something like that. I think what I'm going to do, though, before I do anything like that, though, I think I'm going to enlarge the font here a little bit. I think another thing I might want to do here, let's go ahead and just change these to a red right from the get-go. Let's see. Let's go with red. So I want them to match the font of the logo. This is just your generic CMYK red. And again, just got to go through and do all this stuff. A lot of graphic design is attention to detail, making things all kind of work together and look right. Okay, now I've still got a little bit of room to play with. Again, you know, I could make this the font of the text a little bit bigger and space things out a little bit more, or I could add photos. I think that's probably enough info for now. This is, like I said, this is just a basic setup video. Okay, so we're just dropping in the text and all that kind of stuff. You know, if you want to, you know, in your own start adding more stuff and all that, that's fine. Like I said, I will probably go through and adjust the font sizes and all that, but I think this is probably enough for right now for you to get it started. Okay, and plus I've managed to get through this video without my stupid dog barking his head off at some point and interrupting me. So I'm going to count myself as lucky, and you know, count it good right there. Okay, I will talk to you guys later. I think you guys are doing a fantastic job on the work that I've seen so far. Got some really cool looking stuff out there. Really cool. I look forward to seeing what further stuff you guys come up with. All right, later.